Take a look at your bank statement from last month. If you're like most people navigating the modern digital world, you are going to see a relentless, exhausting list of monthly deductions. $10 here, $20 there. We have completely transitioned into the era of the subscription economy, a reality where you do not actually own your software anymore. You merely rent it. If you want to write a professional document, edit a family photograph, or simply listen to your favorite album, you are expected to pull out a credit card, sign up for a mandatory cloud account, and agree to a novel-length privacy policy. The technology giants of Silicon Valley have engineered an inescapable ecosystem where your wallet is continuously drained just to perform the most basic digital tasks. But if you look down at the bottom corner of your screen, sitting quietly on your taskbar, there is a glitch in this modern capitalist matrix. I am talking about Windows Notepad. How is this even remotely possible? How does an incredibly simple, completely frictionless program survive for over 4 decades in a multi-trillion-dollar industry that is absolutely obsessed with squeezing every last penny out of its consumer base? Microsoft is a company that routinely kills off beloved products the second they stop generating revenue. Yet, Notepad remains. Today, we are going to tear down the hidden economics, the bizarre corporate loopholes, and the accidental mathematical conspiracies that keep this legendary software alive. To truly understand why Notepad is still here, we have to travel back in time to the year 1983. The personal computing landscape was entirely different. Screens were black and glowing green, and everything was driven by typing complex commands on a keyboard. At the massive Comdex Computer Expo in Atlanta, Georgia, a young Microsoft company showed off a new piece of software called the Multi-Tool Notepad, engineered by a programmer named Richard Brody. But here is the absolute craziest part of the story. Microsoft did not actually care about the text editor itself. The company had just manufactured their very first piece of hardware, a computer mouse, which retailed for a staggering $195. You have to remember, back in the early 80s, the average consumer had absolutely no idea what a mouse was, let alone how to navigate a graphical interface by clicking and dragging. It was an alien concept. Because initial sales of the mouse were incredibly poor, Microsoft decided to bundle the multi-tool notepad in the box as a training tool. They were literally forcing buyers to practice using the physical mouse hardware just to write a basic grocery list. Notepad was never designed to revolutionize writing. It was a $195 mousetrap. Eventually, a brilliant marketing executive named Roland Hansen stepped in. Operating on his personal business philosophy that the brand is the hero, he convinced Bill Gates to drop the clunky, overly technical multi-tool branding. The software was officially reborn as Windows Notepad, and it was permanently baked right into the release of Windows 1.0 in 1985. Before we dive into the bizarre, archaic coding architecture that kept Notepad alive through the 90s, if you are fascinated by these hidden tech histories, please take a second to like this video, share it with a friend, and hit that subscribe button. It genuinely helps the channel grow and allows us to keep making these deep dive documentaries for you. For the next 3 decades, Notepad was famously, almost aggressively stubborn. While other word processors became bloated with thousands of different fonts, complex formatting ribbons, and massive load times, Notepad refused to change. It utilized an ancient system architecture known as the Eat It window class. This strict architectural choice literally capped how large a text file you could open, basing the limit entirely on the physical memory constraints of your computer's operating system. It was so rigid in its programming that it stubbornly adhered to a specific document formatting protocol, supporting only the Windows end-of-line characters, which is a precise combination of a carriage return and a line feed. If you tried to open a text file created on a Unix, Linux, or classic Mac system, Notepad would completely freak out over the missing line breaks and present you with a massive, impenetrable wall of jumbled text. But here's the brilliant paradox of Notepad. That exact stubbornness, that complete refusal to modernize its core coding, became its ultimate superpower. Because it had absolutely zero feature creep, it loaded instantly. It provided the ultimate distraction-free environment. It became an indispensable bulletproof tool for system administrators, editing configuration files, and programmers writing raw code. There were no visual distractions, no margins to mess with, and no auto-formatting nightmares. It was a digital sanctuary. However, this exact ancient architecture also created one of the greatest, most terrifying internet mysteries of the modern era. Let me take you back to early 2004. The internet was a very different place, largely driven by forums and early message boards. Suddenly, a massive rumor exploded online. People realized that if you opened a completely blank Notepad file, typed the exact phrase, "Bush hid the facts," saved the file, closed the program, and then reopened it, the English words would completely vanish. In their place, Notepad would display a row of 9 nonsensical Chinese characters. This was right in the middle of a highly tense post-9/11 political climate in the United States. Conspiracy theorists absolutely lost their minds. Was it a secret government code? Was Microsoft intentionally trying to hide political secrets? The internet was ablaze with rumors that the software was actively censoring political speech. The actual truth, however, was just a really weird, highly specific mathematical accident. To understand it, we have to look at the code. Windows utilized a specific API function called isText Unicode, which was introduced way back in 1994 with Windows NT 3.5. Because plain text files do not explicitly tell a computer what language they are written in, this API function used a heuristic algorithm, basically a mathematical guessing game, to try and determine the text encoding of a file. The algorithm looked at the data bytes of the text. It was programmed to guess that a file was written in Unicode if it detected that the changes to the low byte were exactly 3 times greater than the total changes to the high byte. Because of the exact letter spacing and byte length of the phrase, "Bush hid the facts," a 4-letter word, a 3-letter word, a 3-letter word, and a 5-letter word, it perfectly triggered this mathematical threshold. The software's algorithm got completely confused. It mathematically tricked the program into misreading standard English ASCII as Asian CJK ideographs. Notepad was just doing exactly what its flawed math told it to do. It was a fascinating, purely mathematical glitch that stuck around for years until Microsoft finally patched the detection algorithm in Windows Vista. If you actually remember trying that Bush hid the facts glitch back in the day, or if you ever used Notepad to hide secret files in high school, let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep uncovering the incredible stories hiding right on your desktop. Now, to fully grasp why Notepad survives today, we have to look at the dark fate of its sibling program. We have to talk about the brutal corporate execution of WordPad. Introduced in 1995 alongside Windows 95, WordPad was meant to be the middle child of document editing. It was significantly more advanced than Notepad, allowing you to use bold text, italics, different fonts, and rich text formatting, but it lacked the heavy professional tools of Microsoft Word. For decades, it sat comfortably on every Windows machine. But as Microsoft transitioned its entire business model toward the highly lucrative, cloud-based Microsoft 365 subscription service, WordPad transformed from a helpful free tool into a massive corporate liability. WordPad was actually too good. It was a highly capable rich text editor that actively competed with Microsoft's paid Word software, giving casual users a perfectly valid reason not to buy an expensive Office subscription. So, in 2024, Microsoft made a ruthless financial calculation. They officially deprecated WordPad, completely ripping it out of the Windows 11 operating system to push millions of consumers toward paid subscriptions. This brings us to the ultimate question. Why didn't Microsoft kill Notepad too? Why spare the older, simpler program? The answer lies in corporate ecosystem strategy. Notepad is pure, unformatted plain text. It is entirely incapable of formatting a professional resume, designing a flyer, or writing a formatted school essay. Therefore, it poses absolutely zero threat to Microsoft Word's market dominance. You cannot replace a paid Office subscription with Notepad. Instead, Notepad serves a highly valuable, highly specific demographic: the software developers, system administrators, and IT professionals that Microsoft desperately wants to keep locked into the Windows and Azure ecosystems. Tech professionals rely heavily on clean, unformatted environments to write scripts, modify system files, and view logs. If Microsoft removed Notepad, they would infuriate the exact demographic of power users that keep their enterprise infrastructure running. Because of this, Notepad is currently experiencing an incredible, unprecedented renaissance. After leaving the program practically untouched for decades, Microsoft recently transitioned Notepad to the Microsoft Store, allowing them to update the software independently of major Windows releases. Over the last couple of years, this ancient text editor has received massive modernizations. Microsoft added browser-style tabs, allowing you to open multiple text files in a single window. They added a sleek dark mode. They even introduced a built-in spell checker and an autocorrect system that seamlessly fixes common typing mistakes as you go. But the most shocking update to Notepad is the integration of artificial intelligence. In a move that perfectly encapsulates the modern tech industry, Microsoft has injected its cutting-edge generative AI directly into the 40-year-old application. Notepad now features highly advanced AI tools called Rewrite, Summarize, and Write. Users can highlight a block of text, right-click, and ask the AI to change the tone, make the text longer, or summarize complex information into a brief overview. Even more fascinating is how this AI operates. While early versions required a cloud connection and a Microsoft 365 subscription, Microsoft recently updated Notepad to run these massive AI models locally, directly on the neural processing units of modern Copilot plus PCs. This means you can generate, summarize, and rewrite text using advanced artificial intelligence without paying for a subscription, without signing into an account, and without even connecting to the internet. It is the ultimate paradox. Notepad, a program initially built to teach people how to use a physical mouse in 1983, is now being heavily subsidized by a trillion-dollar corporation to serve as an offline, subscription-free AI hub for modern power users. In a technology landscape defined by constant, exhausting iteration and aggressive monetization, Windows Notepad stands completely on its own. It proves that sometimes doing one simple thing perfectly is infinitely better than doing 100 things poorly. It proves that raw, uncompromising utility is a feature, not a bug. And it proves that even in an ecosystem designed to drain your wallet every single month, a simple white rectangle with a blinking black cursor can become immortal. Thank you so much for watching. If this video changed how you look at the software sitting on your computer right now, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and allows us to keep investigating the fascinating stories behind the technology we use every day. Let me know in the comments what you use Notepad for the most, and I will see you in the next one.